What up? What up? It's your boy Marco from Upside Down Studios. It's What the Fuck Wednesday. Sorry we're a little late tonight, ladies and gents. I went and hit a mic tonight, and your boy won the next round or whatever. It was some kind of competition. But
it's for they're taking forward. They'll do 10-minute sets as a competition, and the winner will get a spot, like an opener spot for one of the touring acts, like on a Friday, Saturday.
So I want a chance to move up in the rankings to be somebody's bitch.
They want me to tell the fucking cow joke. I can't win unless I tell the fucking cow joke.
The cow joke is the shit, man. Especially the first time. I mean, that was like striking gold when we came across that.
Well, I was I had a little buzz on. Maybe I should drink more when I do these open mics.
Then maybe you should smoke more.
No, I can't fucking see straight when I smoke. I don't do that shit.
What do you need to see for? You need to be able to walk. That's it.
I need to be able to walk without anything. Shit, are you kidding me?
All right, so like I said, sorry everybody. We were running a little bit late tonight, but we here. So the last show me and Dino did on motherfucking Monday, we talked about some of these weird airstrikes that have been going on. We started, we pulled up a map and we've seen everywhere where Iran and everybody is bombing, which makes sense. They have a strategic, that where they're hitting makes sense. Where we're hitting didn't. Now, that kind of was odd to me. So me and Dino kind of been digging a little bit, and Dino came up with an article, and then now, a couple days later, I've seen quite a bit about it. Again, allegedly, this is all for entertainment purposes only, but allegedly, all that money that's been going over to the litter box down there, all that money, because we all know about Obama and Biden just dumping off pallets full of money over there. And we were told it was supposedly money that we were holding on banks or whatever. But from what the reports are saying, and again, we don't know if it's true, but all that Epstein shit that we haven't seen, and I'm not talking about just the supposed 3 million that still ain't been seen. I'm talking about videos. I'm talking about actual evidence and footage, including supposedly implicating the almighty Barack himself.
Uh-oh. Here we go. I'm not quite sure what the fuck it's talking about right now because I don't watch the news a whole lot. While we wait for Marco, I don't even know what the hell to talk about. His set was fire tonight. He did well. Y'all have to come out, check us out. Wednesday night at 7 at the Funny Farm.
You there?
Yeah, I kind of went off and did a little whatever.
It's all right. Apparently, this is a touchy subject for the algorithm.
Yeah, I just kind of plugged coming out, seeing us at the Funny Farm on Wednesday night. That's about it. And said I didn't know what the fuck you were talking about, basically.
So basically, what I was saying, we'll sum it up. We won't go into details, but supposedly all the missing evidence that we wanted from HRC or the Almighty One or the Podesta and all that shit are sitting in server farms in the litter box. And supposedly that's what we've been hitting over in the litter box. Now, what we've been getting, and I'm curious, Dan, have you heard anything about this so-called war or whatever we're at?
What I've seen so far is we took out most of their top brass, like most of the upper parts of the family that runs Iran, and they're still trying to figure out who the fuck they're going to try to get run it. And I have not one time heard the Republicans call it a war, but every single fucking Democrat that comes up says war powers. We are supposed to be going to war. It's not a fucking war. It's calculated strikes.
Well, see, this is the loophole, and this is how Obama got away with it, and Clinton and Bush and every other president. You got 60 days to do what the fuck you want to do.
Yeah.
So that's whatever. And then after that, it has to go to Congress. Now, a lot of people are saying that Trump did this shit illegally, which he didn't, because if they would have fucking looked into it, not only were the Gang of Eight informed the day before anything happened, they were they were informed or updated the whole day that what did happen. So, for you people out there who's talking about this horse shit or whatever. The thing that got me though, that's really kind of striking me as odd. So far our death toll is ranging between 6 and 16 of U.S. soldiers taken out. But what I'm hearing from news from the other side of the world, we're up to 500 U.S. soldiers taken out.
Last I heard it was like 8.
No, supposedly now that's why I get my information from various sources. American media pretty much shit the bed at this point. But this is according to Iran. So that you can take that with a grain of salt. Because I was looking into that whole school bombing, where supposedly U.S. and mighty funny. This is U.S. and Israeli, but the U.S. shot missiles into a school, supposedly killing. That death toll has been bouncing around too. But what I seen from that was the actual footage of an Iranian missile going up, fucking malfunctioning and coming right back down, and they hit the school, which they're pieces of shit for putting a military base next to a school anyways. And that's done by design. We talked about that on the other show.
Of course it is. They hide behind the weak, the young. They hide behind women. They hide behind people
there was
in hospitals and shit.
There was an intelligence whistleblower who came out and said that when he was still active, they would do war games or whatever, and he was on the other side. And part of their war games was, okay, if we're losing, then we say our enemy will blow up like a school or a hospital or something like that, and say our enemy did it, and then go on social media, and that's how they gain their following. So this screams that right then and there.
Can I say? Let me real quick touch on something because I just found it.
Go ahead.
This is a friend of mine. She's studying in constitutional law. It's the War Powers Resolution of 1973 establishes the statutory framework governing presidential use of U.S. armed forces absent a formal declaration of war. Under the statute, the president may introduce the U.S. armed forces into hostiles or situations where imminent hostilities are clearly indicated. The president must notify Congress within 48 hours of such action. The use of force must terminate within 60 days unless Congress authorizes continued action or declares war. The statute permits an additional 30-day period for safe withdrawal, resulting in what is commonly described as 60-day clock, which includes a 30-day disengagement period. The last formal declaration of war by Congress occurred during World War II. Since that time, Congress has authorized military force through statutory authorizations for use of military force rather than formal declarations.
Right.
And then it goes on. I just figured that part right there drives home what you were saying.
Right. And it's just, once again, it's just these people. It's all about fucking we hate Trump. So now instead, you guys were just, and I noticed there's going to be another Three Kings fucking rally somewhere around this area here around around my birthday at the end of March. Fuck you guys. You guys are idiots. You guys are literally protesting to save kings.
Ah, fuck.
You know, this is ridiculous. I mean,
are you mad because it's by your birthday, or are you just mad?
Well, I just don't see. I don't see the purpose in it. Like, a lot of these people, the reason why they hate Trump is not a reason. It's just not a reason anymore. And there's, you know, I'm not going to say his name, but there's a podcaster who fucking supposedly hates Trump, hates him. But I actually got to meet up with him a couple weeks ago, and we sat down, and he knows how I feel, and I know how he feels. And he actually sat there and was like, well, you know what, I got to admit, you know, he stands on what he says. And when he says he does, you know, so it just seems to be fashionable now to hate Trump.
It's that, and instead of they're nitpicking. They're taking every little thing and analyze. If you analyze my life every fucking minute of every fucking day, you would find some shit. Every fucking human walking on earth, if you analyze every fucking minute of every second of their entire life, you're gonna find shit. Look in the motherfucking mirror.
The way I look at it, it's like nobody holds Trump higher than a Trump hater. Like, what were you expecting? Like, we're supporters. We're the ones who voted for him. We don't put him on this pedestal, but it's like you guys put him on this pedestal, and when he doesn't meet your expectations, whatever those are, then it's fuck Trump. Like, why'd you put him on this pedestal to begin with? Like, I'm noting, like, I see a lot of these people who fucking hate this man, and it's like, why? Well, he's a racist. Well, prove it. Well, he wanted illegals out of the country. That's not racist.
That's been presidents for fucking decades now.
Well, it's only black and brown people. No, that means you're racist because you didn't see all the white folks that he kicked out. The Canadians, the Australians, the Europeans.
Don't put that on TV.
Right.
That's what these people don't see. They don't look to read. They don't. If you question something, start to look into the shit. I mean, you're going down rabbit holes that you'll be like, holy shit, are you kidding me? Really? And people don't do that.
And then we got these people who's like, our soldiers are getting killed. Our soldiers. As somebody who went to the service, I'm gonna let you know, we signed up for that. We fucking signed up for that. That is our purpose. What, you want to arm us? You want to train us? You want to put us through the grueling fucking rigorous shit that we had to go through for us to sit on our asses?
Well, then why don't we start protesting these riots? Because that's putting all these fucking police officers that signed up for it in harm's way. Isn't that the same thing?
I'm kind of glad you brought that up, because that's another thing. So, you know, it isn't talked about too much, but ICE pretty much left Minnesota. Yeah. ICE pretty much backed out of Minnesota on the condition that the Minnesota Police Department starts stepping it up and doing their job. Holy fuck. You guys were bitching about ICE. I've seen some of the video footage of Minnesota cops going at these people. You guys were really bitching about ICE? Mm-hmm. Fucking Minnesota cops, when left to do their job, don't fuck around. And they are fucking brutal. But nobody's saying nothing about that shit. Like, they're not under the camera like ICE was. They are beating people the fuck up. I've seen it on fucking like local news coverage. They are beating people. That was better than ICE, you fuckwits. That was better than ICE. That was better than getting the fuck out of the way and letting these people do their job.
They ain't protesting that though.
Nope, not at all. Not at all. 'Cause what you gonna protest? You got what you wanted. Now what are you gonna protest?
Well, see, this is the thing. It's just like raising a kid. You know, if you are gonna let them act a fool, they're gonna act a fool.
Exactly.
If you are strict, if you are on point, if you're explaining to them what's going on, and let them know there's consequences for their actions.
And even with that, I will give you it don't always work. You know, it don't always work. But you got to do your part as a parent to be like, hey, I mean, look, this is the way it's going to end. You know, if you want to keep doing it, you're fine. But don't come at me like I got to help you once I warned you.
Well, you've had so many chances at it, so I understand what you're saying. 100%.
You're fucking right. You're fucking right. You know, I had the starter kids and I had the second generation. And oddly enough, the starter kids did a lot better.
Mm-hmm. It's because for some reason you start to let up after the first one. I don't know why, but I don't want to do it, but it seems like it happens.
No, see what it was my first set of kids I had when I was broke. They got
Are you going by sets like sets of 3, sets of 4? I'm trying to understand 100%.
I'm doing like sets of 6s. The first set, you know, saw the struggle. They saw me hustling. They saw Dad never slept. Dad did whatever the fuck he had to do to make sure we had our clothes and to have our school shit and to make sure the bills was paid. Those kids seen that shit. Now, after when I got older, my second set of kids, and life wasn't like that no more, and I didn't have to worry about money or nothing like that, then these little entitled fucking horse shit pieces that you wouldn't, because I didn't want them to see the struggle, because I didn't want them to see how, you know, what life was really like on the fucking street. They didn't see Camel, they saw Liberty when Liberty was still good. You know, so and those little entitled bastards are exactly that. I love my children, but I ain't gonna lie. You know, it is what it is. You know, I got grown ass fucking kids that can't change a tire. You're a dude, but your sister can. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, I don't know which one. I don't know where Maria falls into the line of.
Maria's number one. She's top dog.
She's got her shit together.
She's the first.
Well, I see it. I mean, I don't know.
You know, Maria, I can't even say really that I raised Maria as much as I grew up with Maria.
Well, it's because you started so early.
Exactly. You know, and you know, when I got, you know, pretty much her mama dumped her at my mama's house. You know, I was still a kid, you know, so I taught her what I knew at that time, which wasn't good, but it still helped her along in life. You know, my daughter could street hustle just like the best of them.
These kids don't see that shit though.
You know, I put her in a mosh pit at 10 years old, and she came back standing. You know what I'm saying?
These kids are fucking running through Candyland, sparkles, and fucking unicorns, and half of them are dressing up like unicorns wearing sparkles.
It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. And just since you brought that up, that's another good thing, because it seems to be sparking up more and more. And at first, I would have loved to have said this is just propaganda or this is just like government trying to push their agenda. But no, it's happening, and it's happening everywhere in the country. You freaks in the fucking dresses. I'm sorry, you know, I am very much an ally for the rainbow community. You know, I have a lot of gay and lesbian friends. That's where it fucking stops. That's where it fucking stops. You know, because I've known, lesbians, and I've known gay men who have actually went through their struggle through life, who were actually ridiculed and who are actually talked down on, just for these fucking little entitled fucks these days to throw mommy's dress on, and all of a sudden you want to steal the valor of men and women that actually fucking went through the trenches. Fuck that. Fuck that. And now those same little entitled fucks are the ones going around shooting shit up and killing kids. You know, it's happening now it's happening in Canada. You know, one of these fucking pieces of shit painted his face like Sting and started stabbing little kids.
I don't know. I don't care what race, what your feelings are, what your religions are. When you start fucking with kids, you should all fucking burn.
And you know what's really silly? I do want to put this out there for the race baiters out there. Not one of these fucking trans testicles were black. Not one of them. I give them that. Not one, at least a fucking black person, if they're gonna do some fuck shit, they do their fuck shit in their own fucking shit.
Oh man.
I'm just saying, man.
I get it. I get it.
Not one of these fucking, and I feel like that's why the media ain't covering it. Because if this was a black trans person, it'd be all over the fucking news. The right wingers. I'm talking about the people on the side that I'm supposedly on. You know, the right wingers would be all over that shit. Nope, it's a white kid. They kind of, you know, it's trans shit, but it's a white kid.
See, you'll at least listen. I mean, you may lean right, but you'll at least listen.
I lean towards the truth. And the bad thing is, fucking believe it or not, people out there, there's just more truth on the right. There's just more. I'm not saying that they're all truthful. I'm not saying that at all because it's very low. It's like being the fucking valedictorian at the retard school. You know, it's not very fucking good. But it's better than being the fucking F student at the retard school.
Oh, you say truth, I say common sense. I believe in common sense over truth. I mean, Jesus Christ. Can't you just think without having to follow the herd? You know what happened to the lemmings?
Well, this is the problem that, and I've noticed this especially in recent confrontations. We'll just say, there's some folks that can't handle being wrong, and when you're about to prove them wrong, they find a bunch of other uneducated motherfuckers to back them up on to co-sign their bullshit, and it won't even be that they believe in what they believe in. It's just out of gender or color or race, whatever the fuck you want to call it.
Anybody that thinks they're 100% right is 100% wrong.
A wise man knows he knows nothing at all. I mean, and that ain't something I made up. That's I think Confucius said that, or whoever the fuck said that.
Confucius?
Yeah, whoever.
What the fuck, Marco?
Chinese, Japanese, dirty knees, whatever.
You educate yourself, but say stupid shit. I don't understand sometimes.
Well, I will explain it to you the same way I explained it to Dino, because there's a lot of people out there who think because I mix up certain names or words and kind of makes me look ill-educated. No. If you notice what's going on in this woke fucking world of ours, you can get hit with a defamation or a copyright or whatever at any time, even somebody like a nobody like me. So I will say star people and Smurfs and Netanyahu and 47 or the she who shall not be named, or the Almighty One, because that keeps my ass out of a lawsuit. Well, so see, Confusion says,
see, other people, I understand, but see, I think other people, and they wouldn't be able to read it anyway because they don't know what the fucking map is. but you need a key so that people can understand some of the shit you say.
No, because if you don't understand what I'm saying, you don't need to be watching the show. I mean, there is a reason why my show is not monetized, and I've been on for fucking damn near a decade. It's because I don't succumb to the algorithm. I don't succumb to the rules and the regulations and the censorship. You should know. Anybody who comes onto my show, I'd let them speak their mind freely. Where there is no censorship, there is no none of that shit. And unfortunately, the algorithm and the almighty internet don't like that.
Sounds like they are Democrat. I can't, I just say I jest in that. Because I mean, I was a Democrat for fucking ever. I have never voted for a Republican president until this last fucking time. And people are going to hate people who don't like me for that. They say stupid shit to me for that. It was picking the lesser of two evils in my eyes. I don't like either of them. I just disliked Kamala a lot more than I disliked Trump.
Well, see, the problem is at least on my end, from my circle of people and shit. It was all about her skin color. It was all about her skin color.
Oh, it ain't got nothing to do with her being whatever she is.
Right. Because if you look into the history of that whore, and yes, she was a fucking whore. I don't give a fuck what anybody wants to fucking think or say. Yeah, she was a fucking whore. She sucked cock all the way to the fucking White House. Hey, I don't knock the hustle, but that's reality. She was not a black woman. She did not claim any kind of blackness until this last little presidential run. She was the first Punjabi fucking dot on her forehead, slot Indian, or not slot, dot Indian, that was in the Senate. But what really pissed me off, what really turned me off about that cunt from the rip, is when she went on Charlemagne the God's fucking podcast. She was smoking a joint and she was laughing about how many people she put in jail, black and brown people that she put in jail over smoking a fucking joint. The 97 crime bill that everybody likes to throw on Joe Biden. Guess what? Obama fucking put his shit in there too. And Kamala fucking enforced it. She was the fucking attorney general back when that shit was popping off. And she enforced it. The 3 strikes rule, she enforced it. Trump was the one who got most of them motherfuckers out of jail. But when she sat in that studio, smoking a joint, big old giggle on her face, fucking talking about that, fuck you, you dirty cunt. And just like the rest of the idiots of the world who fucking fell into Obama's bullshit, everybody else, oh no, she's a black woman. She has a little melanin. We have to follow her. You're just hating on her. No, you dumb fuck. Look at her fucking record. People are worried about sleeper cells right now. You should be fucking bitching at Kamala Harris. Don't give me this Joe Biden letting anybody in. Kamala Harris was the border czar. That was on her. That was the one fucking job that dumb bitch had to fucking do, and she didn't do it. So fuck Kamala. Fuck Kamala, whatever the fuck her fucking name is. Fuck her. And then she tried to play the race card when her fucking husband and stepkids are all white.
I don't know where this came at. I'm looking I'm just now seeing Ed. Hey, if you're still there, what's going on, bud? I can't see any of the what do you call?
What?
So I had to go to my phone to be able to see what was being commented.
Yeah, for some reason we don't. The comments ain't coming up. I don't know why. I mean, I try to put it up there, but it's not.
So I turned all the signal down on my phone so I could read it on my phone. I'm kind of cheating.
Hey, it'd be like that sometimes.
Well, that way, at least if somebody says something, I can answer because I don't know exactly where any of these statements fall into what we were saying.
You do what you do, bro.
Well,
But yeah, I don't understand it. And again, the Trump haters out there, um, me and everybody else who has a little bit of a tan should be in some kind of field right now. Women shouldn't be allowed out the house right now. There should be no rights for women. There should all melanated people should be asleep right now because we got to be in the fucking field in the morning. Remember all that shit? We was getting all our rights taken away. All that. I mean, at some point you got to be like, dude, it's just not like that. And I don't know, man. Just to see more and more every day, just you do know you are fucking fighting for like an example, the State of the Union address. Did you see Elon Omar and that motherfucker acting a fool? I ain't seen that bitch that mad since her fucking brother forgot their wedding anniversary. Dude, ridiculous, ridiculous.
oh, wait, what? Oh, this is what I wanted to bring up because I called you on it because I just saw it in, I don't understand. I was watching Jasmine Crockett
Oh, I
on that
love
election in
that blog.
Texas.
Oh my god, I loved it. And now she's saying that this is the party that's saying that there's no cheating in the election. This is the same party that said our elections are safe, that we don't need anybody looking after them or nothing. She's saying that the election she was robbed.
What I don't get is I don't even know who won or lost or whatever, and I don't know any of that stuff.
Her and that fucking idiot Al Green lost.
What I don't understand is how can you come in and say there was 5 Republican voting machines and 3 Democrat voting machines? How? I don't understand that because you pick.
The voting machines aren't fucking like Democrat or Republican.
I understand that.
Trying to push on the people. And you know what? There's going to be some folks out there. Sorry, but it's going to be black folks that are going to believe that.
I'm like, because I'm watching her. She's like, they're trying to rig the election. There's 6 Republican voting machines and 2 Democrat voting machines. They are all the same fucking machines. You cast the ballot,
right?
And on the ballot,
if there were separate machines right then and there, that's illegal.
Yes, because then they would know what you were voting.
Right. I mean, some of the shit that these people fucking say, and just because they're on TV and they got the same skin color, all of a sudden, whatever they say is fucking God's gospel.
It's just, I don't understand. Like, people say the stupidest shit. And it's coming from Jasmine Crockett, AOC, and Ilhan Omar. Oh, and that other chick.
And that Tlaib chick. Tlaib.
Yes. I am baffled. I just don't understand.
It's fucking crazy. And then that cunt Letitia James that I still feel like they got something coming for her. But that cunt out in New York, she is now fighting against the administration to start letting kids have their transition surgeries and all that shit again.
No.
Like, look, you won't let people have fucking a gun. You won't let people get alcohol until they're 21. You won't let people get cigarettes until they're 21. You're trying to outlaw those. Fucking, you can't get a tattoo unless you're 18. But you're going to tell me that 13 years old, they know to cut their tits or their clit off or their dick off? Shut the... Dude, that just...
That goes along with my whole thoughts about children. You don't... You can't. Fuck. I wanted to be fucking He-Man when I was a kid. That doesn't mean juice me up with steroids and get me in the gym and fucking get me a tiger to ride.
I can see you ride a tiger. In your whitey tighties just running down the road.
Your first mistake is saying I'm running anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you're riding on the tiger, it's running.
It's more like I'm holding on to the tail like for dear life.
Cause he
Try not to die.
riding side saddle.
Actually, on that note, truthfully, that was part of my therapy to get me to walk. I mean, as weird as I am, do what now, but was actually ride a horse because you have to use muscles that you don't use when you're walking.
Yeah, your ass.
No, asshole.
Yeah, your asshole too. You got to keep that nice and clenched. You hit one of them fucking bumps while that thing is running, and you're gonna shit yourself.
Oh my god.
Why do you think the horses shit when they run?
I know you're not. You ain't no part of country for nothing.
No, you're fucking right. Country
Nothing. No part of country. No. Eating. I can't. We can't. I'm not. No, I'm not a well water. I'm just not.
That's like what I seen a Facebook meme that said something about or maybe it was a comedian, but they said something about I figured I was gonna separate myself and I bought a farm and I bought a couple cows and I bought a couple pigs and I bought a couple sheep. And somebody came up to me, when are you gonna slaughter them? What the fuck you mean? These is my pets. What are you talking about? I'm not eating Fred. What the hell?
Fred the cow. Get the fuck out of here with Fred the cow. If you beat him right, you get Wagyu out of him.
If you don't, you get your ass. You get your ass in the emergency room.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh fuck. So some other weird thing that's been going on, kind of, in this whole war shit.
Okay, we're going to the war.
Well, not so much war. We're looking more of a kind of. Dino and I were talking about this a little bit. It's weird that and I'm just connecting dots from shit that I've learned over the years. That we're bombing a lot of, we'll take the whole idea of the server farm out the way, and we'll just go look at the way just random bombings and shit like that. Last time we did some shit like this was back in the Iraq War, Desert Storm. And when we went in there, we didn't bomb military shit. We didn't bomb stuff that you would think that would be bombed. What we did was we raided the palace, we raided museums, we raided libraries.
Why?
We raided Ziggurat of Burr. Because there's a lot of shit hidden in the Middle East. Remember, that's the cradle of civilization, supposedly. Even in the Sumerian text, it all popped off right there in Iraq by the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers. It used to be called
Crescent.
Iraq used to be called Sumer, and then before that, it was called Ur. And that's supposedly, if you want to go through the Sumerian text, that's where the Anunnaki had their first base. If you want to go into biblical shit, that's where, the Garden of Eden somewhere was around there. And then eventually, there's supposedly some angels buried under them rivers, which are drying the fuck up. But going back to what you asked, in the bottom of the palace, supposedly, there was either some biblical technology that could be used for weaponry, or there was alien technology. That's the big conspiracy thing. We didn't take any of the gold or anything like that. We took whatever was in that basement. just like in the museums and in the libraries. We took things that you wouldn't really think that was anything. Now we got this war going on, and right before the war started, we had Obama talking about aliens and how UFOs are real, and supposedly Trump was supposed to be dropping the dime. But even before that, um, and it came out in the fucking Hillary Clinton fucking testimony. Um, they were at there is a FOIA request that's going around that talks about Hillary Clinton asking about uh, the body of Gilgamesh and the resurrection chamber. Um, so if anybody who don't know, Gilgamesh um, in biblical verses was a Mesopotamian god. In the Sumerian text, he was Anunnaki. He was one of the rulers down there. Either way, he was still fucking there, preserved. He was a giant. That's another thing that failed to be said. And nobody's fucking talking about the resurrection chamber. What the fuck is that? So now we put all this together, and then we go back about 10 years when Putin was just bombing random places in the litter box. And there was a rumor going around about Putin and aliens. And Putin does not, supposedly, Putin does not like aliens. Apparently, and I guess it's going to come out eventually, the Americans have been in touch with aliens. So is a lot of other countries. We are actually chummy with a few of the aliens or species, whatever the fuck you want to call them. Apparently, Putin don't like any of them. Good, bad, whatever the fuck they are. He wants them all gone. And apparently, there's a lot of these reptilian bases in the litter box. So now, do all these have a connection? I mean, it does seem kind of weird that all of a sudden it's just popped off out of nowhere. I know Iran's been a thorn in the side for years, way before Trump, way before Clinton and Obama. You know, Iran has just been Iran. But to just go and start hitting these motherfuckers out of nowhere, I mean, I'd like to say it was because of Trump's ego and the dude kept talking shit, but this is a little bit beyond petty to be fucking, something to be somebody talking shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it. Now about these fucking aliens. I haven't read or seen shit about it.
Well, honestly, if there are aliens, I mean, I want to believe, but until I see, until I just can't. But if there are aliens, I would rather them be extraterrestrial beings, meaning tangible, meaning, if it's the Anunnaki, they came from, whatever. Or if it's like the Lyrians or the reptilians, the Saurians, or any of them, or the Greys or the tall whites, whatever the fuck. They are tangible. They might have some kind of powers we don't know or whatever, but they are tangible. They can be killed. If these are interdimensional beings, which seems to be being brought up more and more, we're fucked. Interdimensional beings are gods. They are there. They are the demons that we see in the movies or read about in the Bibles. They are the gods that we see in the movies or read about in the Bible.
Have you?
In their dimensions, they may be just regular things, but over here, these are things that we cannot fuck with. They don't subscribe to our physics. They don't subscribe to our gravity. They don't subscribe to our anything. And the fact that they have admitted that there are other dimensions. We're running computers off them. The fact that now more and more we hear about the Montauk projects and the CERN projects and all that shit, and how portals have been opened and shit has come through that wasn't necessarily taken care of, or that now that we know for sure that time can be manipulated and has been manipulated, who fucking knows? An alien coming from Mars? That is the least of the fucking problems.
Is there anything on Mars that you've read or seen?
Supposedly there was something on Mars, but it's gone. Like as far as the native biology or whatever. Mm-hmm. I remember reading back in the day and seeing a couple photographs that supposedly were of Mars. And when you look at the photograph as presented, it just looks like craters and dirt and shit. But when you zoom in, it actually looked like a fucking city with streets and all that. And supposedly that is one of the ways that NASA tries to, tell people there ain't nothing going on here, nothing's going on there. So I mean, it's real hard. It's real hard to, kind of determine. Now, if you look into a lot of, I guess I fell down the rabbit hole looking into quantum computers. Just looking into quantum computers, I figured out that we have at least a couple military bases or industrial bases on Mars. When they started making these quantum computers, the only way they could keep these chips cooled is through helium-3. Helium-3 is very scarce on Earth. It means that it makes the chips below absolute zero, which is colder than space. So the only places you could gather this shit. Well, now I'm hearing we have it on the moon too. There's an abundance of it, but that's just recently that I heard about that. The only place you could really get this in abundance was Mars. Well, at that time when I was looking through this, supposedly it took years to get to Mars. Then all of a sudden it took months to get to Mars. And now it's weeks or even days to get to Mars. But anyways, so they were sending a craft to Mars, outer orbit of Mars. And then they were dropping down these devices, which was collecting the helium-3. And then they were launching them up with balloons, and the spacecraft was catching the balloons. And that's how they were bringing the helium-3 back. Now, if anything, that sounds very non-productive. It sounds very, it just doesn't sound streamlined enough. So if we have companies that have the access and the money, the financial money, to send a ship out there and do this whole process, wouldn't you just put a base on the moon? Wouldn't you just put a collection facility on the moon, or not on the moon, on Mars, or wherever this element is? I mean, it just makes common sense. And when I started looking into this, it was over 10 years ago. So even at then, if they just started doing that then, by now there's a gas station on fucking Mars. And so, we started looking at more further digging deeper into it. I forget what the guy's name is, but we started talking about the kids that were brought to Mars and the repopulation of Mars. And there was a guy who traveled with them ancient alien guys for a minute. He said his family pretty much gave him to the government, and he was raised on Mars to be a soldier. And there's more than one person who's claimed that. And now if we look into the Nickelodeon files that just came out, and me and Dino did a little things that were talked about there. They're talking about trafficking people to other planets. So, I mean, it's a good possibility. And then, we keep talking about going back to the moon. I mean, come on, guys. NASA's big excuse is we lost the technology to make it to the moon. We made it to the moon in a roller coaster car and an Atari cartridge. You're going to tell me now you can't make it back to the moon? You know, I tend to believe there was other stories talked about where beings told some of our astronauts not to come the fuck back. That there is shit on the moon. So, I mean, at this point, anything could be real.
See, I don't grab, like, common sense would tell you by now there should be enough technology to go to the moon and come back safely. If they're moving all the way to Mars, why hasn't? I mean, if they're overpopulating and they're destroying the Earth, all this other shit, why aren't you trying to colonize the moon?
Well, we have certain organizations that do that. One of them was one of the ones that were talked about in the Nickelodeon files. Elon Musk talks about it a lot. If you look into the Bigelow Industries, you know that's something that doesn't get talked about too much anymore. I forget what his first name was, but when the Bigelow guy, his parents actually were owners of small motel type deals. And supposedly his mom and his dad were driving one day and they came across a UFO. Now, the story after that gets sketchy, but within 10 years of that happening, his parents became filthy, filthy rich, to the point where Bigelow was the head of Bigelow Aerospace. It was a division of Lockheed Martin, and Bigelow was building a I don't know if you want to call it a colony, but a building, pretty much a floating building in space. Bigelow Aerospace also took over MUFON. You know, MUFON is that for people who don't know, it's the Mutual UFO Sighting, whatever the hell. It's who you would call if you saw a UFO. You know, you would call your authorities, whatever your closest military base is, and to report it, you report it to MUFON. Well, Bigelow Industries took over MUFON. Now I hear Bigelow died. I'm not sure who's took over everything, but Bigelow Industries was the head. You know, they were above NASA. So I mean, and I mean, they showed blueprints of his modular things, and he already had like fucking a few of these rooms already out there just floating in space. So I don't know, man.
I mean, if you ever thought about where all of the science fiction movies come from?
A lot of them, I think, is mimicking what's going on.
Yeah, but if you really, they're just, I don't
There's
know.
just here. I kind of think I know where you're going with it. Um, it's kind of like the moon landing. All right, everybody picks apart the footage of the moon landing and this and that, which they can because the official video of the moon landing was not the true moon landing. It was the backup video. The U.S. didn't know if we were actually going to make it to the moon. We had no idea. Again, we were in pretty much a roller coaster car with a fucking Atari. There was more technology in your cell phone right now than was in the first fucking shuttle, and that's a fact. Um, but the whole thing about it is I forgot where I was going with this. What was the whole point of it?
Something about the moon and the relevance to like today's sci-fi.
Oh. So when we didn't know we were going to the moon, our government, being we were in this race with Russia, decided to have Stanley Kubrick, the guy who made The Shining, film a moon landing, and it was done in the desert in Arizona or whatever the fuck, and then some of it was done in his studio, and that was the footage that got out. Now, supposedly, the original footage was lost or damaged or whatever, because there was original footage. But other circles believe, because there was a point in time, and there's recordings that still float around the internet, that the mics got switched over when they first made it to the moon. And when they spoke to the Earth through their mics being cut out for the public, there was something there. There was things there. They saw things there. Things, they interacted with things or whatever. And that's what's being hidden. So yeah, the whole footage of the moon landing, and when you see the camera guy and the guy's fucking mask, or you see the one dude be pulled up, those are all, yeah, that's all movie magic. I mean, Kubrick even left Easter eggs in the movie The Shining. His daughter even came out, because Kubrick's dead now. His daughter even came out, I believe, and even said that he did that video. So I mean, at this point, we don't know what's real. I mean, because there's also been talks that Venus, there's shit on Venus.
I didn't think anything could live in Venus's atmosphere.
Yeah, we were all told that. And there's one of them that has acid or something, that it rains acid, but there's fucking some kind of biological entities in the clouds. There's also, like, me and my son did well, actually, we did the research together, and we talked about it on one of the shows. There's a fucking planet, I forget which one it was, that rains diamonds. And what really kind of gets me, like, because Dino likes to talk about all the conspiracy theories have come true except flat Earth. And he likes to call people weird from that and this and that, which I don't believe in the flat Earth theory, but I do. Just recently, I thought about it back then, but they're bringing it back up again, and it's kind of fucking with that theory. They're talking about making the space elevators again. You ever hear about those?
No, but I've seen them on Star Trek.
No, that's teleportation. The space
no. Like in between the like when you're on the space stations themselves, they have like space elevators.
No. These are supposedly elevators that go from the Earth to the space station or to another planet or whatever. And my whole thing with this is, if the Earth is round and it's spinning at so much, we got an RPM, and that RPM is not the same as the RPM that we're orbiting, how in the fuck are we going to put a fucking rope, a cable, whatever the fuck you want to call it, to a stationary point or even a floating point, in the fucking space, that ain't moving the same rate of speed that we're moving?
It'd be awfully bendy.
I mean, to me, if you would hang a giant cable off the Earth, it's almost like a weed whacker. The strings that come out of the center of the weed whacker?
Yeah.
So how the fuck are you supposed to send something to something stationary? Because the space station does orbit, but it's not, spinning as it orbits. And even if it was, it's nowhere near the rate of speed that the Earth is, which is kind of odd. Also, supposedly, this is another thing that kind of fucks me up. We're spinning so fast, and we're traveling through space at the speed that supposedly these particles that are in space should be able to permeate space, the spaceships, even people, our space suits. How the fuck are we doing spacewalks if everything is spinning and the slightest particle should be able, like, it should be like a hypersonic missile through you?
Don't know. Interesting though.
Right. So I mean, you know, a lot of people like to discredit the flat earthers, but there's a lot of shit like, and again, I'm not a flat earther, but there's a lot of shit that don't make sense. There's a lot of shit that don't make sense at all.
Well, see, that's according to the physics, the chemistry, the biology, all that we learned 30 years ago. That shit is nowhere near the same as it is right now.
Well, a lot of people want to deem it though. That's the problem. A lot of people want to deem like the same shit. Like here, and we hit our hour mark, so we'll finish up on this. It's like, you know, what we were taught about the Holocaust, or we were taught about the little funny painter man. You know, that the Holocaust was one of the worst things that ever happened. It was so many people, and this happened, and that happened, and all this. And, you know, we never got to hear in English what the funny little painter was saying. We were never told what books that he was having burned. We were just told it was propaganda and this and that. And we were always told, you know, he was just a racist and all this other shit. But now history tells us he was far from racist. Now history tells us he was very religious. Now history tells us that he was against all the transsexual and pedophilia and all that shit that we are against today. Now we are told that the books that were being burnt were books that we are banning today. Nobody ever gets told that. But we, you know, you still have these people who want to go back to the old knowledge of no, 6 million people die. Yeah, you know what? If because I've seen the tallies and it was only maybe in the hundreds of thousands, if that. If that many people died, they weren't all Jews. They always throw in the Christians that were killed by the Jews through the Bolshevik era, which nobody talks about. Nobody talks about the Ukrainians that were fucking killed. Nobody talks about any of it. It's always the Jews. Everybody wants to show you pictures of how bad the Holocaust was and this and that. And we find out now that all them pictures were taken years after these places were taken down. And this was just shit that they just, you know, they kind of posed for. You know, there's leaked videos and footage now of how these places that were supposed to be death camps look like fucking resorts. Now we find out that the Jewish nation, the Jews, were in on all this and fucking financed a lot of this. How the funny little painter was sending, you know, was giving people a chance and was giving them full first class tickets to go back to where their people were. None of that. But we'll still get that old information that people want to cling on to. Just like, you know, nobody wants to believe that the fucking Irish were the first fucking slaves in America, or that the first slave owner of a black person was black.
Well, that was in Egypt, wasn't it?
No. Here in America, the first slave owner, real deal, and he won it through white courts, was a black man.
Interesting.
But nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about that at all.
Well, nobody wants to talk much more than what they have in front of them and what they are told and what they feel. They don't want to actually try to find out for themselves. Everything is about knowledge. The more you know, the better off you are. And use some common sense.
And
use some absolute common sense.
And here's a perfect example, because I'm gonna speak on my own people, Puerto Rican people. Mm-hmm. How, you know, I didn't watch either one of the five. I didn't watch Cracker Palooza or the fucking halftime show, you know, with Bad Bunny. But what I did fucking see from the Bad Bunny show, as a Puerto Rican, I'm offended. Fuck Bad Bunny. Because what that fucking European cigarette did was he put a fucking sugarcane plantation out on the stage and had slaves dancing around like Sambo. Now, you take that same situation if a black fucking rapper came out there and put a cotton field on that fucking stage and had slaves dancing around with fucking cotton, how the world would have fucking reacted. But it's okay for the little spick boy to do it, right?
I don't see this being all right either way, but
No, it's not all right. It's not all right at all. But
I turned all that off. I watch football, not halftime.
But the fact that, you know, if you didn't like Bad Bunny's fucking performance, you're racist. No, if you liked Bad Bunny's performance, you're a fucking racist and you're an idiot. And that being said, well, go ahead. Finish off with your last thought.
These are all the same thing we've been talking about for weeks now. No matter what side the story is told from, there's always a good and there's always a bad. And you're going to tell the story from your perspective.
Exactly. So just the only thing that I can say to that is just keep an open mind. Listen to both sides of the story before you make your determination on whether you want to roll on one side or the other. I mean, it's that easy.
Every day.
So with that being said, Dino's got a gig tomorrow night, so we won't be doing mental health. So we will see you back again for motherfucking Monday. And movie night, I'm not sure what we're watching on movie night, but we'll let y'all know. Yeah, y'all be good to each other and just keep your minds open. Quit believing all this bullshit. We're out.
Common sense.